Hey guys, it's Ed. The future is now. In the future is four stocks to talk about today. And that it's a lot. It's a lot of detail, but I wanted to mainly go into a basics of technical analysis, which are supports and resistance, and show how they apply to these four stocks individually. But at first I wanted to tell you a story about Facebook and how I even started tracking Facebook, and what was the story behind it. Why would I be investing in Facebook? Well, in it was a while back before the IPO. My mom calls me up one day and she says, "Hey, what do you think of Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg?" And this was before she said anything about stocks. And I said, "Well, Mark Zuckerberg is dangerous." And she was like, What do you mean?" I said, "He doesn't really care about money. He's just trying to change the world." And this is a powerful concept. Okay? If you have a CEO who doesn't really care about money, I know analysts don't necessarily want to hear that, but it's a powerful combination, especially one as smart as Zuckerberg is. Understood computers and software, and anyway, and I said, as far as Facebook, the company, because I had been using it, like I was an early adopter, so I had been using it back before a lot of people were using it, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is basically, and I described it to her, I said, he basically designed a website for everyone. So everybody now can have their own website. Everything else is fluff to me. He designed a website for everybody in the world. Everybody can have their own website. They can post pictures or videos or stories or detail. Anything they want to post, they can post. And that became, I was like amazed by that. I was like, this is a, super powerful thing. And I told her, I'm like, as far as the company, Facebook could be one of the biggest companies in the world. And she was like, well, I was thinking of investing money in it at the IPO. And I said, well, how much were you going to invest? And that's, obviously how much is a big factor. And she's like, 3 or 4,000. I said, oh, absolutely. That's fine. You're not taking a massive risk there, betting $3 or $4,000 on Facebook. I expect Facebook to be worth more than $33 a share at some point. Okay, so I think you're pretty good there. And her friend, who was a savvy investor, was like, oh, no, never buy. No, don't buy Facebook at the IPO. That's crazy. Meaning don't buy at the IPO because it usually dips. But she didn't understand my mom. My mom wasn't going to trade it in and out. She wasn't going to do anything. She bought and held it and is currently still holding it. And it has increased 650% from 33 to now it's at 200. Okay, 650% or 72.2% a year every year. That's remarkable. That was a savvy move on her part. I was just suggesting what I saw, and she was just getting my, investment advice and what I thought and whether I used it and getting some details on it. So it was a super savvy decision on her part, and it was kind of lucky that I just saw the company beforehand and not like afterward, not like, oh, I don't know Facebook or what's going on and, don't do it. So anyway, her only regret is she didn't buy enough shares. So she only bought $3,000 worth of shares or whatever. It was around 100 shares or something like that. So, but anyway, that was a remarkable investment. And I've been following Facebook ever since and investing in Facebook as well. Now, remember I said 330 sold out of Tesla. Everybody's like, well, not everybody. Some people were like, oh my gosh, you should feel bad. The market or the Tesla went up, and well, you missed out on that. Sort of. We weren't out. Okay, we were out of Tesla, but that doesn't mean we weren't in things that were making money. And one of them was Facebook. But anyway, I wanted, before I get into the other one, which is another good story, let's talk about the technical analysis. Okay, Facebook has been, if you let me blow it up a little bit. Facebook has had 190, 195, 200, 205. It has all these spots where these are floors and ceilings, which are really hard for it to get through. It's bounced off of these so many times. The 195 has bounced off it multiple times. The 190, oh my gosh, it's bounced off the 190 so many times I can't even count. Okay, so these are basically what's called a support or a floor, and then you have the ceiling. So if it breaks through the ceiling, then it will test the next level up at another level. And they're usually numbers. I mean, they're usually almost round numbers. You know, like I'll talk about other stocks and show you the different ones. But Facebook always seems to be that $5, you know, mark. So, and it broke. Let's say if you can look at Facebook here. Okay, here's a buying spot in here, and Facebook cracked the 195. And then it went through the 200 and dipped back under it, and then it cracked the 200. So it's still in an upward channel, and basically, it's in a good spot. It's not going down. It's not in a downward channel. It's above the moving average. The moving average I said here was a 20, but it's above the 20, 50, 100, 200 moving average. So that's important too. But you can see those spots, and those are, you know, a lot of spots where they have trouble getting through. You can see where it resisted 195, and then finally breaks it. And then resist 200, cracks it, but breaks through it again and kind of bounces. And that's where we're at today on Facebook. So anyway, this is an example of, you know, some supports and resistance on Facebook. But now, number 2, which is another great company. I've talked about Google before, and I'll give you the little storyline before Google. So you heard the IPO Facebook story from my mom. Well, my father worked at NSA, National Security Agency, DOD, and he had used Google search long before the IPO came out. And when the IPO came out, he knew Google was superior in every way. So it was kind of like almost inside information, because he knew, because they were using it, the government was using it to search and protect people in our country. So they were using Google, and now they're using Facebook and Google. They're using all kinds of platforms to keep our country safe. So he saw that ahead of Google, and he knew they were dominant. So when the IPO came out, he got in right around 100, 105. I think it was 105 a share. Okay. Google is at $13.50. He got in at 105 a share. That's, once again, he saw that would change the world. He saw that. He recognized that, and he put money into it and invested into that company. Okay? So, and Google in, I'm sorry, it was 2004. I guess the IPO came out in August 2004 at about 85 a share or something like that. And then, you know, it broke up, and actually he bought more shares at about 165 zone, so he was buying still going up in Google. But that was a 1,250% profit, or I think it was 88%, if my numbers are right. It's 86% per year, every year for 15 years now. How would you like to make 85%? If somebody came up to you and said, hey, you can make 85% a year for the next 15 years, would you do it? I mean, that's insane, right? Well, so I'm extrapolating, and let's look to Tesla for a minute. And let's actually forget it. Let's look to the future, okay? Let's just fast forward to 2040, okay, 20 years from now. Let's sit 20 years from now and look back to now and say, what company would I want to be in that's going to change the world potentially? Is there any company out there that could be changing the world right now? I wonder. Well, I don't have to wonder, and I don't think it's a far stretch to say Tesla is going to be that company. I mean, you could say Apple. Is Apple going to do something? I mean, maybe they could do something unbelievable and create some sort of device that everybody on Earth is using. I don't know. There's other companies, you know, I mean, Facebook and Google can put their money elsewhere and start innovating in some amazing things, and I'm sure they are right now with their R&D development. So let's think about it with Tesla, okay? And obviously you guys know I'm a huge fan of Tesla. So let's move to Tesla here. And you can see the Tesla chart. We've already talked about it a few times. And let's kind of close up on it here. Let's do that. So we can get the close up on it. It broke the moving average. And remember, a couple days ago, I posted a video and I said it's going to break one way or another within a couple days. Okay, I was leaning 60% down and 40% up. So I was a little off on my projection there, but it did break, okay? It broke up, and it broke up pretty big. I mean, it was there's like 4 days in a row of major upswing in Tesla. So, so don't feel sorry for me, excuse me. Don't feel sorry for me that, oh my God, I missed all this time, right? But where was I at the time? Let's see. That date was, I think it was on the 2nd, which is right here. Okay, so I wouldn't feel too sorry for $70 a share increase on Google. So during that time where this is going sideways, we were picking up $80 a share on Google. So once again, just because I'm out of one stock doesn't mean I'm not somewhere else. I don't like investing when it's going sideways because you don't make any money. It's going sideways. I don't like investing going down because you're losing money. I like investing going up, buying going up, because then you're making money. So as long as stocks keep going up, keep investing in stocks going up. They're driving up and up, okay? It doesn't mean you're not going to one time get a stock and say, "Whoa, it's going up," and the next day it tanks for the next 5 or 6 days. That will happen. Okay, it's not that often it's going to happen, but that can happen. But you can set stops on things. So let's say, for example, I wanted to set a stop on stock like let's go back to Google. If I wanted to set a stop on Google, and Google's supports and resistance are pretty interesting too. But let's say I wanted to set a stop. We bought it in whatever it was, like around 13, under 13, like 1280 or something, whatever. And so let's say we set a stop at 1270, 1275 or 1270 or whatever. Just set a stop there at a percentage. It's usually a percentage, like set a stop at 5% or 10%, whatever amount you're willing to lose on that guess. Like, I'm guessing that's going to go up, but if it doesn't and it goes down, I'm only going to lose 5% and that's it. So what's the upside gain? You have massive upside gain, but you only have, if you have that stop set, only a minimal downside risk if you set a stop. So anyway, that's that discussion. Okay, that's a different discussion. But anyway, let's talk about the supports and resistance for Google. It's important. The 1200 mark, there was kind of some resistance on the 1200. That's pretty big. 1200 was pretty big. The 1250, 1, 2, 3. It's tested the 1250 a few times. It cracked the 1250, and it's tested the 1300 floor, as you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it almost false went through the floor. It stuck its leg through the floor, but it kind of pulled its way out. That's kind of how I look at it, like a house. You're climbing up the stairs. That's kind of an upstairs. Yeah, look, it looks like stairs, right? You're climbing up the stairs, but when you fall off the balcony or whatever, you don't fall down the stairs. You fall straight down. So you can see these falls straight down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, pretty big ones there. So, but you ladder up and you're falling down. But anyway, so there's the floor here. And now the next tester is, let me guess, it's about 1350. And what's this close at today? 1351. Okay, it's testing the 1350. I'm not sure why my bar is here, but that's the 1350, and it hit it, and it didn't go through it, didn't do anything with it today. Okay, it just was kind of off that ceiling and not much happened. So, but anyway, that's how to kind of look at Google's support and resistance. So, and then we went over Tesla. Okay, Tesla supports and resistance. The smaller the company, essentially the super small cap or a small cap, medium cap, or whatever. Let's say Tesla, for example, it's worth, the market cap's about 64 billion, something to that extent. So what we've got going here is, it basically, it can break through those resistance easier, and it can fall through the supports easier. Okay, so that's a thing. In even lower stocks or even smaller end stocks, they almost ignore supports and resistance most of the time. But the bigger the house, the bigger the structure, the more valued those supports and resist, the more shares into that stock, the harder it is to break through those supports and resistance. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so support now, what's our next point to break? Okay, for Tesla, I think it's somewhere around where are we at? I'm sorry. Oh, 359. 360 looks like a good support for this. Okay, so I mean, if it's breaking through 360, it's at 352 already. So, oh, we're back in. By the way, I said I would tell you when we're back in. Well, it broke and we're back in. But I'm not loading up 100%. It's a more of a strategy of percentages. I have, let's see, I have, there's Facebook, there's Google, and Tesla, and a mystery stock that I want to talk about. Okay, and anyway, so hang on one second. So what I want to talk about was, give me a second to get to it. Oh, my mystery stock. Okay, Virgin Galactic, otherwise known symbol SPCE. This is what I call a spec stock or speculative stock to me, okay? So, and you wouldn't invest like heavy into a speculative stock. So, shares are low, like 50 to 100, something like that or whatever. I mean, the cost is pretty low. So anyway, we got in as speculative stock on Virgin Galactic. Pretty good timing too, because they just announced, or some investment firm announced, I can't remember which one, it was probably JP Morgan or something, I can't remember. But anyway, they announced they were talking about a $22 price target, which would be amazing. If that goes to 22, I'll be perfectly happy with this. But this is more like, hey, let's invest in our traveling space future and let's kind of see how it pans out. If it all goes to zero, okay, no big deal. This company crashes or whatever. I see two major issues that they're going to have. One being a rocket engine can explode and kill people, and that's a hazard. So there's a risk there. And two, they could have problems re-entering in the spaceship. They could have a spaceship failure. So they have two issues of failure that they have to basically be at zero. They can't be taking celebrities on there and having issues. So that's a big thing, okay, when it comes to that. So that's a total speculative stock, but it's one of those where, invest in the future that you want to see, and that would be a cool future to see, even though I don't think I'm going to be able to ride them at $250,000 a ticket, even though they have a lot of ticket, I guess, I wouldn't even say pre-sales, but they have a lot of interest in it. I'm not sure if they actually took orders for seats yet. But anyways, this is my speculative stock that I'm seeing, and it jumped like radically in a couple days. I mean, today it was up 4%, which any stock up 4% is pretty big, but that was pretty minor considering yesterday was like 13 or 14%. The day before that was like 20. I mean, it was an unbelievable motion. And once again, they pretty much ignore supports, resistance, and whatnot. But let's put one on it, because we might as well. You can basically see it on the bottom here. So you can see it, 1, 2, 3, 4. It hits here. It has 4 spots that it's forming. It's building those bricks on the base here. Okay, I don't know if that's going to be an absolute bottom, but it built that anyway at that point. So that's definitely going to be a support potentially at some point, unless it just races up and goes ballistic. So anyway, that's the speculative stock of the week. I wanted to show you that, you got to diversify a little bit, take some chances for low end money, and take some risks on some certain stocks that you think that have chance. I think that they have a chance to potentially be the first ones in the market for space tourism. If they're in the first to the market, has an advantage regardless. So, I mean, even if SpaceX comes in and starts cruising people all around the world in 30 minutes on flights, I think it's going to be a long time before that happens. There's massive dangers there as well. A lot more dangers for SpaceX landings than there is going to be for Virgin Galactic, like airplane style landings. So anyway, that's space. That's Tesla's update. And obviously we talked about the supports. So you can see the supports and the resistances for almost every company, Facebook, Google. Now, and why that I started tracking these in the long term. I mean, Google my dad was tracking since 2004, and I just continued tracking. And same thing with Facebook, and with my mom with Facebook. That was crazy. So, and she made a super score on that one. And Tesla, to me, is the next what company in 20 years do you want to look back in 20 years? Because basically I'm giving all of my shares to my daughter and to my son. They will inherit everything. So basically, I want to do the best to, I guess, make them the most amount of money, because I doubt I'll potentially even use a lot of the money, or maybe not even any of it. Who knows? I mean, I may hold it for 20 years and just trade it in and out, trying to make the maximum amount of money off these positions. But just because you're out in one stock doesn't mean you can't jump into another one and capitalize. If stocks are going sideways or down, you should be in a stock that's going up. Okay? I've said this before, and this is a mistake that I think, I mean, at least 50% investors probably make, is they're buying based on a price of a stock. Like, oh my gosh, Uber's really low at $32. Well, is it going up at some point in time? Are you just going to wait? Are you just going to keep waiting, making no money until it goes up, hopefully? Well, you can buy in when it starts going up. I mean, is there a problem? I mean, do people not have the buy and sell switches on their accounts? I'm confused by that. Okay, I'm baffled by that people won't take a chance and get in and out of stocks a little bit more frequently when they're seeing sideways and downward action. Don't bother if it's sideways and down. Get in stuff that's going up. So to capitalize again, or to summarize, I should say, if we go to Google, Google is going up, right? Okay, well, we're in Google. Tesla is now going up again. We're in Tesla again. Okay. Going up, space, okay, and Facebook is also going up. I'm in 4 stocks, basically just monitoring them constantly, that are going up. I'm not in 4 stocks going down hoping that they bottom somewhere. That's a waste of time and money in logistics. Why would you bother? You know, so I hope this makes sense. And if you guys like this video, please subscribe if you want me to talk more about stuff. And anyway, somebody asked me about Amazon the other day, and I kind of have a secret about Amazon. People are like, well, are you investing, or did you buy, or anything about Amazon? And I directly invest in Amazon. I have a company that sells on Amazon and eBay. So I'm directly investing in those companies, not indirectly with stock. So, and that percentage is a lot higher than I can make in stocks. But, so, I mean, if you guys want me to talk about it, if anybody's interested in selling online and making money, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I've been doing it for about almost 9 years now, since 2011. And we've hit 2 million in sales, sold 250,000 plus items. I would have to recalibrate. We sell items every day. So anyway, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing with that. So I don't invest in the actual company as much when it comes to Amazon, because I'm directly investing it every day, you know, buying product and selling it. So if you're interested in doing that, you want me to maybe start a different channel just to teach people how to do it. I've been doing it for 9 years. Now, I haven't been doing it for 2 years. Like, oh my God, I made all this money. No, I've been doing it for a long time. I've seen, you know, back when they invited people to fulfillment. Now they just let anybody go to fulfillment. They actually invited our company to fulfillment because our metrics were good. So, but anyway, that's besides the point. If you guys want to see that, throw it in the comments. If you guys have any comments about any of these stocks or anything, or even like, oh my God, I hate this one, or I like this because of this reason, comment on it. Be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you can see when I'm posting a new stock video, or you get an update on a Tesla stock or whatever stock that you're into. So anyway, I just wanted to, that's a lot for today. That's all I can handle. My brain is pretty much a mashed potato. All right. Anyway, thanks a lot and have a great day.